Good morning. How's that for a nice view? So I'm just finishing packing up here. In fact, I would go so far as to say I'm finished packing up. Everything else other than that is already in the kayak. I don't actually know what time it is, but I'd guess 6:30, maybe 7, probably 6:30. Mosquitoes are out in healthy numbers. The black flies have yet to wake up for the day, which is a wonderful thing. Oh no, there's one. The weather's beautiful. There is no more gorgeous campsite than this one. Like it was just it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Bug season makes things more challenging. You know, no matter how well prepared you are mentally and equipment-wise, bug season, black fly season, I should say, does detract to some extent from the experience. Mosquitoes, I mean, swarms of mosquitoes aren't fun, but you throw in a little bit of DEET in the right spots and you're pretty much left alone. Black flies just burrow into your hair and assault you in clouds, and it's just, I don't know. You know, give me mosquitoes over black flies any day of the week. Okay, so I just brought the rest of my stuff down to my kayak, and I was about to put everything in and then push off, and I'm thinking, isn't there supposed to be something else in my front day hatch or front dry hatch? Because I decided that I wasn't going to worry about breakfast, I completely forgot about my earth sack. It's still out in the friggin' woods. I got within. If I didn't always pack my stuff in my kayak the exact same way, I could very easily have just pulled off my campsite without my food. Good morning. I had just pulled off my beautiful Lake Louisa campsite. Seriously, they don't come much prettier than that. That's any campsite with a huge piece of Canadian shield and sunset and sunrise. They don't make many like that. Right. I am in a stream that leads to Rence and then into Harry's. So as much as I wanted to film my food prep, I was too hungry. This is really, really good. So I'm not on a campsite. I was aiming for a campsite as marked on the map, and I got to it, and it looks like a real point site on the map. In reality, it's a little dungeon. So I saw this little patch of rock, and I thought, what the hell? That's perfect. Check out my view. Not a bad spot for a shore lunch, huh? One thing I should add about camping, and I think I've already said it, but I'm going through a pretty popular access point in Rock Lake. There were three or four cars in the parking lot, counting mine. At the access point, there was a couple putting in a canoe. So counting those two, who actually headed most of the way to the Louisa's portage, actually wondered if they were coming here, but they veered off. Counting those two, and counting the two guys working in the permit office at Rock Lake, and at the access point down at the water, there was a tent set up, and there was somebody there prepping what looked like a big group coming in later or something. So I have seen 5 people on this camping trip, and they were all at or before the access point. I have not, and I don't even mean got close enough to see people. I haven't seen a campsite occupied on any of the lakes I've been through, including Louisa, which is a very popular destination. I haven't passed anyone. I haven't seen anyone on the water since I got to Louisa. And even in Rock, it was just that one couple. That's it. I've had this. I've had everything I've been through, I've had entirely to myself. Entirely. If you're the type who likes seclusion, likes peace and quiet, likes solitude, there's a lot to be said for bug season. Lets you go places that wouldn't normally be that peaceful, and they're awfully peaceful. Except for the bugs devouring your soul, of course. Oh. Well, that was a very relaxing, peaceful, and for all intents and purposes bug-free little lunch break. That was really nice. That was really peaceful. And now, one of the reasons for my get there-itis is anytime I take a break of more than a few minutes, I get back up and I'm like, the will to paddle in portage is gone. It'll return, but it's gonna take a few minutes. Right now, crawling into a tent, into a nice, warm, cozy sleeping bag, and reading a book sounds like a wonderful thing. Instead, I have a 2170 meter portage, then a tiny little paddle, and then a 275 meter portage. But hey, that's almost as nice as reading in a tent, right? Glamorous. short trip, but it has made me, I think I said somewhere in the last couple of days that for me it's not a real camping trip unless you have a day when you moose. I'm in the middle of giving my wrap-up speech for the trip, and that girl just happens to be there. So you never know what the moose is gonna do, but most of them are reasonably skittish. And once they've seen you, they're gonna start heading for the exit. So I started filming her at quite a distance, you know, max zoom in. Got some footage so that no matter what, I had something. And then put the camera down, paddled in closer, started again, and then I got above her, upstream, or upwind of her, and again started filming. And then I had to start zooming out a bit because zoom in she was taking up more than the entire screen. And I zoom out a bit more and I zoom out a bit more, and then I realize that the wind is blowing me into her and I'm like 20 feet away. And it's still drifting directly towards her. And you know, she stopped munching at one point, turned and looked at me like, do you think maybe you're close enough by now? And then went back to feeding. And I'm like, you know what, alright, I've got my footage. I've got to see that beautiful creature up close. Time to move on and let her go back to her lunch. Okay, so I'm still at the bottom end of rock, slowly working my way back to the car and then to home. The moose is just a minute or two behind me. It's a nice way to end the trip. I think I will let that end the trip. You know, it's nice to go back somewhere that still holds strong memories for me of literally my first experience of solo camping in Algonquin, and one of my first experiences solo camping ever. And to see how far I've come, and how I do things, and my confidence level, and experience. You know, I'm not the same guy who I'm I'm not the same guy who pulled up in his 14-foot kayak with a frame packet at the Portage de Louisa and said, okay, let's see how this is gonna work. But that's where it started. You know, you don't start anything new magically knowing what you're doing. And you know, you can read books, you can study, you can learn what you can. And of course, the best way to learn would be to go with others who know what they're doing. But I didn't really have anyone for that. You know, there's nobody that I hang out with that's really a camper. And I really wanted to, so I just did. And I was bad at it. And I had an amazing time anyways. And I learned and I got better. And I fixed some mistakes and I designed a better yoke. And I just kept working at it. And now you could almost say I sort of know what I'm doing. I'll give myself that much credit. I kind of sort of know what I'm doing.